Okay, here's the question. The question is, what do you do with extra biblical historical accounts? So,
hang on. So, for those who, it's a little low, and I tried to bring the volume up, but the question here has to do with historical accounts in non-canonical literature. Okay?
Interesting here, listening to a commentator, and he's using, let's say, 3. So the book of Joshua, you have the Dead Sea Scrolls, and you have like a historical rabbi, let's say Rashi.
Okay, so stop.
What was the last one again?
A historical rabbi like Rashi. So let's stop real quick. So we have 3. This is really good because we have 3 different people or 3 different witnesses. Let's call them witnesses for now. You have the book of Jasher, the Dead Sea Scrolls, and Rashi. 3 completely separate times, right, in history. The book of Jasher is what? Date the book of Jasher for me.
Well, you have, okay, this is good. We need to talk about this one. The book of Jasher that people read today.
Right, that's what I mean.
It was written in the Middle Ages.
Middle Ages, right.
Yeah, it's not the book of Jasher that is mentioned in the Bible. That's not at all. No, it's a completely different thing. It is part of a time in history where Jews were writing books in Hebrew. That they did it for Josephus too. There's a book called Yosipon, and it's just telling stories. So yeah, the book of Jasher, if someone's teaching from the book of Jasher, it's no different than teaching from the Book of Mormon.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like,
my boy is wicked smart.
It's like, oh, I'm going to quote the Book of Mormon. Like if you went to a Messianic synagogue and they started quoting the Book of Mormon, like you'd be like, wait a minute, but they quote the book of Jasher. You're like, hey, you know, kids, gather around.
He must be so wise because he's actually read the book of Jasher. No, so this is really important though. So Jasher, the book of Jasher that you're reading today, Rashi, both super late. You're talking
Rashi's
about
like 11th, 12th century.
Yeah, you're talking
France.
Middle Ages for both those, and so these have no connection. In fact, this would be like me writing commentary on something in 800. If I was giving you a historical quote marks here for those listening on a podcast, historical account of something that occurred in the 800s, are people going to be like
Caleb's commentary on the Quran?
Yeah, exactly. Like the life of
in
Muhammad.
English translation. So you can read an English translation and then give an English commentary.
People are going to be like, ooh, are they going to be like, ooh, this gives us new insight into Muhammad's? No, of course not. What they're going to do is going to say, this guy's 1,200 years later. He wasn't there. What are you talking about?
But in 1,000 years, they're going to go,
ooh,
Caleb, the Hegg.
Yes. Yeah.
This is going to be Hegg. What did Hegg on say?
So no, but now, so this is completely different than the Dead Sea Scrolls. The other thing that I think a lot of people miss, I was watching some stuff people have sent in from Mystery Bible Theater 3000, by the way, today that's on the Dead Sea Scrolls. And what people miss is that there is canonical books found at the Dead Sea Scrolls. There's non-canonical books found at the Dead Sea Scrolls. So just because it's Dead Sea Scrolls, like there's a lot of people on like TikTok and YouTube who don't realize that there are books that are non-canonical found in the Dead Sea Scrolls. And so what they do is they say, did you know that the Dead Sea Scrolls talk about giants? It's like, and this is supposed to blow everybody's mind, as if the original Bible had, like extra stuff that isn't in our Bible today. It's really quite shocking. Anyway, so all of this to say, the very first thing that you would have to do with these different quote unquote, and we'll use quote marks here and say witnesses, is you would have to ask, and this came up when we were debating Jim Barfield at the Copper Scroll Project. He was trying to use Google Translate. You remember that? And then his three witnesses, one was from the 1700s, one was from the 1500s, and one was, I honestly, for a few days, I thought we were having a joke played on us. It was that bad. It was that bad. So the very first thing you have to do is you have to figure out where something is historically. That's I think that everybody has to do that no matter what, so that we know where our quote unquote witnesses are coming from. Is somebody putting research together and talking history, or are they presenting a story as if it was there in the beginning,
right. Well,
like they were there?
Here's another aspect to this. How many English Bibles are there? Like, I think there's 50. I think there's at least 50. Like, if you go to Bible Gateway, you pick a verse and click all English versions.
Sure.
And there's English versions that aren't on the website too. So you need to add, I don't know, 10 or however many. Okay. So, okay. But I'm going to quote Rashi, but I don't know Hebrew.
Right.
I have to go somewhere like Chabad or wherever, or someone who's going to mediate Rashi for me. And I'm going to say, oh, that must be what Rashi said. But when it comes to the Bible, it's like, I don't like, I'm real picky about what English translation I use. Same thing with the Talmud. You're getting a filtered, biased interpretation. One of the worst ones is Neusner's, it's under Neusner's name, but it's his students did it, was the Talmud of the Land of Israel in English. It's from the Jerusalem Talmud. It's awful. And there's places where they're paraphrasing and you read. And so the issue is with the Dead Sea Scrolls also. Get this, but newsflash, not all Dead Sea Scroll scholars agree with each other.
Right. Thank you so much for watching this video. Tell us your thoughts on this subject by leaving a comment in the comment section. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and enable those notifications. And we'll see you in the next video.